You mentioned the party atmosphere of a 90s Formula One paddock. When Red Bull joined the sport initially in 2000, when they bought Jaguar, 2006, was it that combination of a sort of party atmosphere and exciting workplace, but also a sort of undercutting seriousness and a focus on performance? Was it that combination that drew you away from Renault to Red Bull?
It's a really good question. You know, Benetton had this free atmosphere that I loved. You know, it wasn't a corporation, it didn't feel like a corporation. You didn't have to follow rules that came from head office. You could just run a Formula One team like a racing team. And then they got bought by Renault, and as we all know, ended up being quite a successful partnership. But frankly, so we were winning the championship with Fernando in 2005, and Christian started engaging with me to go to Red Bull in 2006. And it seems like an odd move because it looked definite that Renault were going to win the championship again in 2006. But the truth was, it was that corporate, you know, I'm a racer, I guess. The reason why I've stayed in the sport as long as I have is because I love going racing, and I like to feel like I'm working for a race team, not a huge corporation. And I really didn't like the box that you were put into under a corporate structure. And so, yeah, it was a breath of fresh air to come here. Christian said you can set the team up in your own image, you know, build it how you want, set up the race team that you want to work in. And he's been amazing, you know, he's been amazing in that respect. I mean, other than the odd, what looks like, you know, some of the changes in personnel that perhaps I wanted to do that he's gone, wow, that's a bit drastic. I think other than that, I've been left to set this race team up and run it how I want to run it for the last 16 years.
Amazing. And do you think that there's a similar philosophy that Christian sort of permits and not permits, but like allows everyone to have or fosters in the company with the technical engineering side? You mentioned that moving to personal management was the right move for you, but with Adrian Newey, such a legendary designer at your team, do you think he benefits from a similar kind of culture of freedom and independence and perpetual innovation that you benefit from?
Yeah, I think you know, good managers put the right people in the job, give them their parameters, and let them work without oversight. You know, yeah. Christian and I have a catch-up meeting once every 2 weeks, or not even that if we're at a race, because there's natural times to talk. Adrian, without doubt, was tempted to come here from this oppressive sort of McLaren culture. Perhaps we've all ended up in the right team together, you know, the people that want to work in a more creative and interesting environment, you know, and back to the management side of things. I've always fully believed in putting the right person to the right role, make sure they're equipped to do their job, and leave them to get on with it. And that's what makes managing people fun, you know, just watching people grow into their new roles and surprise you quite often. Plus also, you know, working within a team, and I'm a massive believer in the team environment. If you've got complete freedom and confidence, if you're working in a team that without recrimination, that tries to learn from its mistakes, you know, we've talked about some pit stop incidents. You can imagine there's been incidents in the past where somebody has made a mistake that's been significant. Never fired anyone for that. Fired them for other reasons. Sure. Never fired anyone for that, you know, because the best thing to do is get everyone around and try to learn from those mistakes.
Absolutely.
Plus a lot of people you're dealing with, you know, you imagine I said there's 900 people here, you know, they're all sorts of different people from different backgrounds. And this is what makes management so interesting to me, is you've got people who might have grown up starting initially working underneath some railway arches, you know, servicing cars, and they end up on a race team. Other people have gone right the way through university and taken their education as far as they can. Some people are better off being in a dark room with a computer with no interaction with any people at all. And other people are real people who like to, gregarious, outgoing, charismatic people that want to work in an environment where they can socialize. So it's bringing all those people together and knitting them as a team, which is what's unique, I think, about this business. There is another thing. I think Formula One teams, by and large, have a much higher percentage of very, very intelligent people. And that makes it a very dynamic, testing and challenging situation to work in.